Hi, Joseph. How you doing? I want to talk a little bit about your cover first. We'll start with your cover. Um, Starting with the masthead, I really like the masthead. I think it's very attractive. It's designed beautifully, and it's probably it's very strong. Probably one of the strongest mastheads I've seen um, in this class. So good job there. One thing I'm really curious about in the masthead though is I need to zoom in here a little bit, but just take a look at this. Was this done in Photoshop? Because it's a little bit, it's very fuzzy as opposed to this issue one and volume one, as you hope you can see that on my screen. But I'm just wondering if perhaps you did. If you did, then you probably shouldn't be doing. You should probably be doing that in InDesign or Illustrator. But at any rate, okay. So carrying on with the cover, um, you, using typography is the main gist of this class, of course. So one of the things we've been studying, of course, is creating hierarchy, typographic hierarchy, and creating hierarchy on the page in the composition using typography to help aid the viewer through the composition. And we've learned many techniques to do that. And I think you're trying to do that here, but I think you're falling short because you're depending on a couple of things you shouldn't be depending on. You're depending on the use of color, and you're depending on these images. So if you take away, and this is a general rule of composition in general, so think about this. If you take away all of the images and all of the color and just present the type in black on white background, is it still a good composition? And I want you to take a look at this, and I want you to answer that question yourself. For example, questions that I think that should be asked are why is this type on an axis, and why is this type on a reverse axis? It just doesn't. It's just looking like chaos. It looks like you've got about 8 different things you want us to look at the first time. The image. This is drawing attention because it's on top and it's very light in color. This, of course, because it's on a diagonal as well as this. And then this is in green, so you're drawing attention there. And then this over here is even larger, and it spans the entire width of the cover, and that's another visual cue that, so what I'm getting at is there's very little visual and typographic hierarchy on this page. I think that you're trying to create hierarchy, which is wonderful, but I don't think you're doing it the way you should be using typography. I think you're too dependent on image and color. Okay, so let's move on to the, I'm going to guess this is the left page spread of the contents page. It's hard to say because the black, I'm not sure. I'm going to guess this is part of the contents page, but there's no type on that. So excluding this type. Now, we've learned several times, Joseph, that if you're going to center justify type, you need to, well, first of all, you shouldn't do it in body copy ever. And the only time you should ever center type is in an invitation, a wedding invitation at that, a very formal invitation. Otherwise, it just doesn't make much sense. Now, justifying type is a different thing. Justifying type with the last sentence flush left. So with this centered like this, you're creating some very ambiguous negative space with this symmetry in your type. Okay, and then also, and then I'm just going to move to the cover, the contents page. Now, again, this is a great example. This is a beautiful page. This area right here is gorgeous. I mean, it's gorgeous, absolutely. You should hang your quotation right there, hanging quotes, hang that that dash, okay? Otherwise, beautiful. This here, why did you stop with the color? You built this color hierarchy, which is good because you're only using one other color, but then you stop down here and it doesn't follow suit. It doesn't follow suit, okay? So, plus your page numbers are lined up here on the top and then they're lined up over here on the bottom. So again, you're breaking a grid there. I don't think this page needs the image. And generally, I think you're really dependent on really dark black backgrounds, which is kind of giving a very negative feel to the page and the composition. You this is the interior spread, and good two-column spread, good word count, good word spacing. I'm sorry, good word count, good character count, and good line length. But the word spacing is a little unusual. I sent that paragraph out for you guys using Justified Type to adjust your Justified paragraphs, and there's some settings that you should look at in the announcements area. Those will fix up these, little rivers and areas of black, right, weird. Here's a river right here. You can just see how it kind of, if you squint your eyes, you can kind of see these rivers that flow through. Like right here is one, and then right here is one. You can kind of follow them if you squint your eyes, and you should adjust for those in your typography. Again, you're using half your page with an image. This is a call out here, so it should be somewhere within the paragraph. It should not be center aligned. And this is really, really, really bad, Joseph. You have a hyphenated word, and then you have a center aligned, and then the rest of the word is on its own line. So that's really super unusual. Other than that, I think you've got some unusual spacing. That space right there between lines. There's another unusual space right there. So I'm going to say, spacing and hierarchy are your main issues. Spacing and hierarchy. I'd also like to see some mixed typefaces on your cover. You're using all sans serif, but and that's it. So anyways, good job. I mean, it seems to be you're very passionate about this topic, and that's very it seems to be very apparent. So oh, there's more. Okay, this last page, this is really huge. I want you to print this page out and take a look at how enormous this type is. And then also take a look at some of these spaces. Here's another one of those rivers I'm talking about. It goes right through like that. And then here's another one going right through here. See? So, okay, so that's all I have, Joseph. But I just want to say great class. Thanks very much. I've enjoyed having you in class. You're a good student, and I hope to see you again. Thank you, Joseph.